Today we are going to revise most important and repetitive questions in CAIB ABFM exam, which is going to benefit you in your upcoming exam for revision purpose. So watch this video briefly and revise just before exam for most benefit. Now without wasting time, we will start. First question is, which one of the following is a key objective of asset liability management? Maximizing net interest income, reducing operational costs, matching the majority of assets and liabilities, improving customer service. The most important and key objective is option C, matching of the maturity of assets and liabilities. Next question, which of the following is a significant characteristic of bank's capital adequacy ratio? Capital adequacy ratio significant characteristic. It indicates the level of profit, it helps in measuring the bank's risk exposure, it calculates operational costs, it calculates liquidity. The correct answer is an option B. It helps in measuring the bank's risk exposure. Question number 3. What does the term loan loss provisioning refer to? The practice of preparing for loan repayments, allocating funds to cover potential loan defaults, reducing loan interest rates, minimizing loan term lengths. Obviously, the correct answer is option B, allocating funds to cover potential loan defaults. Question number 4 is, which one of the following is not part of Basel III framework? So Basel III framework का कौन सा पार्ट नहीं है? इसमें ऑप्शन ए है लिक्विडिटी कवरेज रेशियो, कैपिटल कंजर्वेशन बफर, लिवरेज रेशियो, कैश रिजर्व रेशियो. सो ऑब्वियसली ये क्वेश्चन पहले भी आ चुका है और इसका आंसर है कैश रिजर्व रेशियो. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज द term duration in risk management refers to a measure of the time it takes to liquidate a security, the time taken by a borrower to repay the loan, the interest rate sensitivity of a bond, or the total maturity of an investment. The correct answer is option C, the interest rate sensitivity of a bond. Which of the following is a major factor that affects the cost of funds for a bank? Deposit growth, regulatory costs, interest rates in the market, competition from other banks. The correct answer is interest rates in the market. The interest rates are going to affect the cost of fund for a bank at the most. Now, next question is, what is the primary purpose of financial derivatives in a bank's portfolio? Primary purpose financial derivatives bank's portfolio. The options are to diversify the portfolio risk, to increase profitability through speculation, to hedge against interest rate or currency risk, to improve the liquidity position, to hedge against interest rate or currency risk is the correct answer. Next question is, what does the term net interest margin represents? If you remember the formula from BFM, so it is going to be very easy. By the way, correct answers are you can depict from there, but the options are total income generated from lending activities, the spread between interest income and interest expenses, the total profit margin after tax, the percentage of bank's capital invested in loans. So correct answer would be option B, the spread between interest income and interest expenses. Next question, which one of the following is a method used for managing market risk? So मार्केट रिस्क को मैनेज करने के लिए सबसे बेस्ट मेथड क्या है? हेजिंग, कॉस्ट कटिंग मेजर्स, कस्टमर डाइवर्सिफिकेशन, इंक्रीज लोन टेन्योर. सो इसका करेक्ट आंसर है हेजिंग, वेयर वी hedge our market risk to minimize this. Now, next question. Which one of the which ratio is used to assess a bank's liquidity position? So the options are return on assets, debt to equity ratio, loan to deposit ratio, current ratio. The correct answer is loan to deposit ratio. Question Next, question 11. Which one of the following is a key component of credit risk management? Option A, setting interest rates on loans, properly analyzing the borrower's credit worthiness, creating customer service initiatives, reducing operating expenses. The correct answer is properly analyzing the borrower's creditworthiness. Next question is, which one of the following risks does not typically affect the treasury management of function? So the options are market risk, liquidity risk, credit risk, operational risk. The correct answer is operational risk. 13th question. Risk adjusted return on capital is used to: option A, determine the profitability of a loan, assess the risk taken for earning a particular return, identify the credit worthiness of borrowers, calculate the loan default rate. So correct answer is assess the risk taken for earning a particular return. Which of the following is a common financial instrument used for liquidity management by banks? Correct answer for this out of these options: option A, mortgage-backed securities; B, certificate of deposit; C, treasury bills; D, equity shares. So correct answer is treasury bills, because these are the only bills, treasury bills, which are being uh, released by government, and where and these are linked to directly to market, and these are the least volatile things which can be used to manage liquidity by banks. So we will move to the next question. The process of identifying, assessing, and managing all types of risks a bank faces is known as risk assessment, credit management, risk management, portfolio management. The correct answer is risk management. Next question. What is the main aim of a bank's treasury function? So options are to monitor the quality of bank's loan portfolio, B, to manage the bank's funds efficiently and reduce risks, to assess customer creditworthiness, to manage the customer service experience. So correct answer is to manage the bank's funds efficiently and reduce risks. Next question. Which of the following is a financial instrument used by banks for hedging foreign exchange risks? Forward contract, इक्विटी शेयर्स, सेविंग्स अकाउंट्स, टर्म लोन्स। इनमें से कौन सा है जो हम यूज करेंगे फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिस्क को हेज करने के लिए? सो एक ही चीज में रिलेट करती है, फॉरवर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स। फॉरवर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स क्या होते हैं? वेयर हम लोग एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बुक करते हैं इन एडवांस, सो दैट प्राइस के फ्लक्चुएशन को हम हमारा जो भी इन्वेस्टमेंट है वो अफेक्ट ना कर सके। मीन्स exchange risk minimize हो गया. So the correct answer is forward risk. Next question. Liquidity coverage ratio introduced under Basel III is aimed at ensuring. Correct options are sufficient capital reserves for banks, sufficient liquidity to meet short-term obligations, proper management of interest rate risks, adequate profitability in bank operations. So the correct answer is sufficient liquidity to meet short-term obligations. Next question. Which of the following is a major component of the capital structure of a बैंक, इक्विटी कैपिटल, कस्टमर डिपॉजिट्स, बोरोड फंड्स, कैश रिजर्व्स। सो ये थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजिंग रहेगा। इसका आंसर है इक्विटी कैपिटल। दिस इज द मोस्ट important component of capital structure of a bank rather than customer deposit. Always remember equity capital. Next question. The term stress testing in risk management refers to identifying potential fraud activities, simulating adverse economic conditions to test a bank's resilience, determining the maximum loan that can be issued, calculating the risk-weighted assets of a bank. So correct answer is simulating adverse economic conditions to test a bank's resilience. Next question. What is the role of the ALM committee in banks? Asset Liability Management Committee. So this means for this option is to review asset quality, to ensure proper management of market risks, to monitor interest rate and liquidity risks, to oversee credit policies. So the correct answer is to monitor interest rate and liquidity risk. So हमारी ALM कमिटी क्या करती है? इंटरेस्ट रेट एंड लिक्विडिटी रिस्क को मॉनिटर करती है. करेक्ट आंसर इज आंसर सी. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. What is the purpose of bank's investment portfolio? Option A, to hold loans and advances for customers. To manage the bank's liquidity and generate returns. Option C, to monitor customers' savings accounts. Option D, to track reserves for emergency use. So बैंक्स इन्वेस्टमेंट पोर्टफोलियो क्या करेगा? पर्पस क्या होगा इसका? ऑप्शन बी, टू मैनेज बैंक्स लिक्विडिटी एंड generate returns. Next question. Which of the following is an example of a derivative financial instrument? इनमें से कौन सा डेरिवेटिव फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट है? पहला फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट, दूसरा म्यूचुअल फंड, तीसरा ऑप्शंस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंड चौथा सेविंग्स अकाउंट्स. सो इसका करेक्ट आंसर है ऑप्शंस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. वो हमारा डेरिवेटिव इंस्ट्रूमेंट, बाकी सारे के सारे हमारे इक्विटी और डेब्ट इंस्ट्रूमेंट है. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज which is the key focus of bank's risk management framework? Option A, identifying and mitigating financial, operational, and reputational risks. Maximizing profit margins. Option C, providing loans to customers. Option D, marketing the bank's services to potential clients. So इसका आंसर है करेक्ट ऑप्शन है ए, identifying and mitigating financial, operational, and reputational risks. Next question. Which of the following is a key aspect of liquidity risk management in banks? Option A, diversifying the loan portfolio. B, ensuring that the bank can meet its long-term obligations. Option C, increasing capital reserves. Option D, reducing credit risk exposure. So, इसका correct answer है option B, ensuring that the bank can meet its short-term obligations. हम कैसे इसको रिलेट कर सकते हैं? लिक्विडिटी रिस्क मैनेजमेंट मीन्स लिक्विडिटी हमारी शॉर्ट टर्म में देखनी है, तो शॉर्ट टर्म ऑब्लिगेशंस हमारे मीट हो जाने चाहिए जो हमारे पास सोर्सेज हैं उससे. सो इंश्योरिंग दैट द बैंक कैन मीट इट्स लॉन्ग टर्म ऑब्लिगेशंस और शॉर्ट टर्म ऑब्लिगेशंस. दिस इज मेन एस्पेक्ट फॉर liquidity risk management. Next. Which of the following risks is associated with the failure of a borrower to repay a loan? सो इसका तो आंसर बहुत इजी है, ऑप्शन ए क्रेडिट रिस्क। नेक्स्ट मूव करेंगे। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग फाइनेंशियल रेशियोज मेजर्स द प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी ऑफ अ बैंक। सो ये कंफ्यूजिंग एक हो सकता है, तो इसको याद कर लेंगे। रिटर्न ऑन एसेट्स, रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी, ऑप्शन ए। ऑप्शन बी लोन टू डिपॉजिट रेशियो, ऑप्शन सी कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी रेशियो, ऑप्शन डी लिक्विडिटी कवरेज रेशियो। सो इसका करेक्ट आंसर होगा रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी। Next question. In the context of a bank's financial statements, assets refer to bank's liability and equity. Option B, only cash and deposits. Option C, resources owned by the bank which generate income. Option D, deposits and savings accounts. So इसका करेक्ट आंसर है ऑप्शन सी, रिसोर्सेज ओन्ड बाय द बैंक विच जनरेट इनकम। वो ही हमारी एसेट्स होती हैं जहां से हमको इनकम मिलती है। Question 29. Which of the following is used to manage interest rate risk in a bank's portfolio? बैंक के पोर्टफोलियो में हमको अगर इंटरेस्ट रेट रिस्क को मैनेज करना है तो कौन सा इनमें से काम आता है हमारे? करेंसी स्वैप्स, इंटरेस्ट रेट स्वैप्स, इक्विटी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स, कैश रिजर्व्स। तो इसका करेक्ट आंसर है इंटरेस्ट रेट स्वैप्स, जहां पे हमारा जो प्रिंसिपल है वो हमारा जैसे का तैसा रहता है। हम बस इंटरेस्ट रेट का स्वैप कर लेते हैं बाई एक्सचेंजिंग द प्रिंसिपल। आपको याद होगा बीएफएम में हमने पढ़ा है। सो करेक्ट आंसर इज आंसर बी, ऑप्शन बी। सो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज ऑपरेशनल रिस्क? नो, व्हिच रेशियो इज यूज्ड टू असेस द कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी ऑफ अ बैंक? सो इसका ऑप्शंस हैं कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी रेशियो, liquidity coverage ratio, loan to deposit ratio, net interest margin। सो कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी मेजर तो हम कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी रेशियो से ही करते हैं, इसका फॉर्मूला बीएफएम में हम पढ़ चुके हैं। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट इज ऑपरेशनल रिस्क? रिस्क ऑफ लॉसेस फ्रॉम सिस्टम फेलियर्स और ह्यूमन एरर, रिस्क ऑफ मार्केट प्राइस फ्लक्चुएशन, रिस्क ऑफ अ borrower defaulting on a loan, risk of losing capital due to economic downturns। सो इसका करेक्ट आंसर है ऑप्शन ए, रिस्क ऑफ लॉसेस फ्रॉम सिस्टम फेलियर्स और ह्यूमन एरर। जहां पे भी ऑपरेशनल चीज़ों की वजह से होगा, यानी कि जहां पे भी ह्यूमन एरर या सिस्टम का फेलियर इन्वॉल्व होगा जो कि ऑपरेशनल वजहें होती हैं, वो ऑपरेशनल रिस्क हो जाता है। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग टाइप ऑफ लोन्स इन्वॉल्व्स हायर रिस्क ड्यू टू एब्सेंस ऑफ कोलेटरल? करेक्ट ऑप्शन ए secured loans, option B unsecured loans, option C personal loans, option D home loans। So correct answer is unsecured loans because these are not secured by any collateral security। Question number 33. Which of the following financial instruments is most commonly used for hedging against currency risk? इनमें से कौन सा फाइनेंशियल हम करेंसी रिस्क को मैनेज करने के लिए यूज करेंगे? ऑप्शन ए ऑप्शंस, ऑप्शन बी फॉरवर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, ऑप्शन सी फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट्स, ऑप्शन डी म्यूचुअल फंड्स। सो फॉरवर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे तो हम प्राइस को फिक्स कर पाएंगे आज की हिसाब से, ताकि हमारे जो भी चेंजेस करेंसी की मार्केट प्राइस में हों, मार्केट रेट में हों, वो हमको अफेक्ट ना करें फ्यूचर में। सो करेक्ट ऑप्शन इज ऑप्शन बी। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज which of the following is not a part of a bank's financial strategy? Option A asset liability management, risk management framework, option C performance based compensation for employees, option D customer acquisition and retention। So इसमें से फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रेटजी का पार्ट नहीं होगा ऑप्शन सी परफॉर्मेंस बेस्ड कंपनसेशन फॉर एम्प्लॉयज। दिस इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ बैंक्स फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रेटजी। Question 35. The term credit rating refers to option A the assessment of borrower's repayment ability, the interest rate charged on a loan, the total capital reserves of a bank, the liquidity position of a bank. So correct answer is option A, the relationship between, no, the assessment of a borrower's repayment ability. This is the correct answer. Next question. Which type of risk arises due to fluctuations in the value of a market asset? Option A, credit risk. Option B, market risk. Option C, liquidity risk. Option D, ऑपरेशनल रिस्क. सो मार्केट प्राइस में फ्लक्चुएशन की वजह से है, इसलिए होगा मार्केट रिस्क. 36 का बी. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज what does the gearing ratio measures in a bank's financial analysis? Option A, the relationship between debt and equity capital, the proportion of a customer deposits to loans, the profitability of investments, the liquidity position of the bank. So the correct answer is the relationship between debt and equity capital. Next question. Which of the following financial instruments is used by banks to manage interest rate risks? So interest rate swap. This question is repeated, I guess. So we'll move to the next question. The capital conservation buffer under Basel III aims to increase profitability, provide a cushion during financial stress, manage operational costs, reduce risk exposure. So the correct answer is provide a cushion during financial stress. Next question, which one of the following is not a major category of risks faced by a bank? First, credit risk, market risk, 3, political risk, or 4, transaction risk. So obviously political risk. Next question, which type of financial assets has the lowest risk? Treasury bills, corporate bonds, equities, mortgages. So चूंकि treasury bills are three types of treasury bill होते हैं, 91 day T-bill, 22 day T-bill and 364 day T-bill. So these all T-bills are issued by government agency. That is why these are the most safest and hence of lowest risk. Next question. What does liquidity risk refers to? The risk of a borrower failing to repay a loan, the risk of being unable to meet short-term financial obligations, the risk of adverse market movements, the risk of fraud system failure. So correct answer is option B, the risk of being unable to meet short-term financial obligations. Next question is which of the following is a common method used by banks to measure credit risk? So first option is credit score analysis, B, risk-weighted asset calculation, C, net interest margin, D, profitability analysis. So correct answer is credit score analysis. So next question is what is the primary objective of the capital adequacy ratio for banks? Capital adequacy ratio के लिए primary objective क्या है? To increase banks profitability, to measure the bank's risk-taking ability, to track the interest income, to monitor loan performance. So the correct answer is to measure the bank's risk-taking ability. Next question is in the context of risk management, hedging is primarily used to reduce interest rate risk, B, increase capital reserve, C, enhance customer service, D, maximize returns on investments. So the correct answer is option A, reduce interest rate risk. Which of the following ratios helps in assessing the riskiness of a bank's lending operations? So correct answer out of these options are A, capital adequacy ratio, B loan to deposit ratio, C non-performing assets ratio, D return on equity. So the correct answer is non-performing assets, the NPA ratio. Next question, what is the key risk associated with foreign exchange transactions? Operational risk, B currency risk, C credit risk, D systemic risk. So the correct answer is option B currency risk. Next question, what is the primary purpose of the stress test in banking? To evaluate banks' financial stability under adverse conditions. Move on to next question. Which of the following is an example of market risk? So options are a decrease in the value of bank's investments due to interest rate changes, a borrower failing to repay a loan, operational errors leading to losses, inability to meet liquidity obligations. So correct answer is a decrease in value of bank's investments due to interest rate changes. Option A. The last question is, which of the following is a common financial ratio used to evaluate the performance of a bank? So, first question is return on assets, second question is loan to deposit ratio, interest rate swaps, or last option is gross profit margin. So, correct answer is return on assets. These were the 50 questions. Just watch this video in 2x speed just before exam to revise your concepts. Thank you. All the best for exam. Bye bye.